Right from the beginning of the One Piece saga, we are told that the Marines are the greatest enemies for pirates and a massive obstacle for Luffy becoming Pirate King. Being a Marine and being a pirate are as opposite as it gets in One Piece. Pirates want absolute freedom and change, while Marines want control and stability. Luffy's path to becoming a legendary pirate is full of battles with the Marine organization. During the mini-arc about Luffy's childhood, it's explained that his grandfather, who raised him and is one of the most powerful and famous Marines, always wanted Luffy to follow in his footsteps. In the end, Luffy chose to follow in the footsteps of Shanks instead, quickly becoming a pirate and a prime target for the Marines. But what if Luffy never got inspired by Shanks? What if Luffy had become a Marine? Our story starts during Luffy's childhood, where he originally got inspired to become a pirate. We could assume that Luffy never meets Shanks, but he still needs to eat his devil fruit. Instead, Luffy gets inspired by someone else before Shanks arrives. In this scenario, Luffy's grandfather Garp brings along one of his former students, the Marine Admiral Aokiji, to visit Luffy. Aokiji, sympathetic towards Luffy, uses his epic ice powers to beat up some bad guys, serving as a great alternative to Shanks. Saying goodbye to Garp, Aokiji makes Luffy promise to one day become a great Marine. Luffy's new goal becomes becoming the Marine Fleet Admiral instead of Pirate King. The rest of his childhood stays the same, training with Garp, Sabo, and Ace, and befriending his crew. Shanks still arrives, and Luffy eats his devil fruit out of hunger. However, Luffy wants to become a Marine, thanks to Shanks. Luffy sets out in his small boat to find a Marine base where he can join. He ends up on Elvida's ship, saves Kobe, and arrives in the same town as before, not to recruit Zoro, but to join the Marines. Seeing Zoro tied up, Luffy decides to free him, even if it costs him his dream. After defeating Axe-Hand Morgan, Luffy asks the Marines if he, Kobe, and Zoro can join, but a squad captain denies Luffy due to his attack. Garp arrives and decides to take them all in as recruits. Now, Luffy, Zoro, Kobe, and Helmeppo head towards the Grand Line and Marine headquarters on Garp's ship, where they train hard. Luffy and Zoro grow rapidly under Garp's supervision. Since Luffy and Zoro don't need a better ship, they never make it to Syrup Village, where they meet Usopp. Captain Kuro plunders the village, and Usopp is killed. However, they pass by the Baratie, and Luffy convinces Sanji to join as a Marine. Zoro still duels Mihawk, who takes an interest in him. They might miss Nami and Arlong Park, but Garp might visit Belmer's grave, leading to them meeting Nami. Luffy defeats Arlong, and Nami joins Garp's squad. Luffy is promoted for defeating a powerful pirate, similar to his bounty. In Lock Town, the group meets Smoker, who takes a liking to Luffy. Luffy encounters his father Dragon, having a tense conversation with Garp. They enter the Grand Line and meet Crocus, who knows about Luffy from Shanks, but doesn't help much. They encounter Vivi, and Luffy promises to help her against Crocodile. They stop at Drum Island, meet Chopper, but can't free Drum Island from Wapol due to his protection by the world government. At Alabaster, they find Smoker investigating Crocodile. Garp stops Luffy from fighting Crocodile, and Luffy becomes frustrated with Marine rules. Luffy briefly meets Ace and encounters Nico Robin, whom Garp arrests. Aokiji arrives and convinces Garp to let Robin escape, earning points with Luffy. Robin is picked up by the Revolutionaries and Dragon. They pass by Jaya, Water 7, and Thriller Bark. Frankie is caught by CP9, and Brook remains in the Florian Triangle. Luffy's group captures pirates, improving their skills. They reach Sabaody Archipelago, where Garp plans to introduce Luffy to X-Drake. Luffy is appalled by the slave auction house and meets Rayleigh, who tries to convince Luffy to quit the Marines and train with him. Garp pulls Luffy back to the ship, and they arrive at Marineford, where Luffy meets Sengoku, Kizaru, and Akainu. Luffy dislikes Akainu and trains hard under Garp and other officers, becoming one of the youngest captains. Ace is captured and Marineford prepares for war. Luffy refuses to fight, But Shanks stops the war and talks to Luffy, inspiring him to train for 2 years. Luffy joins Shanks as an undercover agent, training more and learning the truth about his devil fruit and the importance of finding the One Piece. Luffy could become a pirate king or fleet admiral of an independent marine organization. Luffy's unique nature allows him to change the world even as a marine. A darker question is, what if Luffy was never born? This timeline would be much darker than this one.